Good afternoon. Today we'll be talking about capacitors. So what are these? Well, you find them in a lot of variety of engines, and those ones in particular come from a generator. So sometimes they do fail, and before to buy a new one, you need to make sure they are toast. Okay, so I will show you in this video 3 ways to find out if they are gone or not, and if they need to be changed. Before we start anything, let's make sure they are fully discharged from electricity. To do so, we take a screwdriver and we touch the 2 poles like so. Okay, and once we've done that, we know they are fully discharged. If you don't do that, you can receive a nasty shock. The first way to check them is visually. So we look at them. So for instance, I can tell you that this one is good and this one is bad. But when we look at both of them, they are exactly the same. There's no difference. Usually, if they are gone, it could be that it's bulging. It could be that something is coming out of it. Obviously, if you see that, it's an obvious sign that it's gone and it's to be thrown away. But if, like in this case, you see there are no visual signs, then we will have to test them with a multimeter. So now the second way of testing it will be with a multimeter, like this one. So this one is a very simple one, okay, but it's not to actually test those. Okay, so this one, for instance, okay, you will always see on the capacitor there's always a big number. On this one it's number 14. So usually with a multimeter that's made for those, it will give you a number that's very close to that, so you know it's fully functional. Sometimes you will see the number dropping, so you know it's on its way out, and if the number is 0, well, bin. Okay, but we can test it as well with this one. The only thing is we will know it works, but we won't know if it's got its full power. Okay, so I'm just gonna show it to you now how we're gonna do that. I will now show you how to use a normal multimeter that doesn't give usually reading for that. So first we connect the cables. In COM we're gonna place the black one, and in home we're gonna place the red one, like so. Now we're gonna place it on the reading home 200K. Here we go, and we've got the reading of 1. Okay, so now that's the new one and that's the old one. So when I will touch the 2 poles, I should have a reading that will climb up to nearly 200. If it's so, and then it will drop. If that's the case, then we know it's good. If it doesn't move from 1, we know it's gone. Okay. So as you have seen on this one, the reading has climbed up, and eventually dropped. And on this one, he hasn't even moved from 1. So that's one way of knowing that this one is faulty. Okay. So as I say, it won't give you the exact reading, but you know it's faulty. So now let's have a look at the third way of testing it. The third way of testing it is with a cable. Okay. So here I've got a bit of a long cable. We don't need something so long, but what matters is that we've got a plug, and we've got something to connect it to the condenser, okay, or the capacitor. So how it works? Let's say, for instance, we connect it here to those poles, okay, and then we connect it to the plug. We leave it for about 3 seconds, okay, not more, okay. Then we disconnect it. And now if you take a screwdriver and you touch the 2 poles, we should have a spark, because this should fill up with electricity. So when we touch the 2, it should explode. If nothing happened, it means it doesn't work. Okay, so that way it's a very simple way to know if it works or not. Okay, so we're gonna test it now. I've got my I've got my bare cables, okay, and obviously we need to be very careful with that. So what I will do, I will charge both, okay, and in one we should have a spark, and in this one we should not have a spark. So let's try. Okay, so obviously be very careful when you do that. Okay, so you connect the two. Okay, so we leave it a few seconds and then we remove it. Now we do the same with the other one. Okay, we drop that cable and now we're gonna test it. So here we should have a spark. You heard? And now this one, nothing. See? Nothing at all. Doesn't work. I now have my cable plugged onto the socket and we will charge them. Huh? So be very careful with that. Okay, so I connect it a few seconds. Okay. And now the other one. Okay, perfect. Now I'm gonna leave my cable very carefully and we're gonna try them. So here on this one I should have a spark, and on the other one I should not have a spark. Okay, you've seen it. And this one, nothing. Dead. Okay, so now we know this one doesn't charge and this one is good for the bin. Well, that's it. Now you know how to test the capacitors, okay? I hope that you have learned something and that you have liked the video. So we'll see each other in the next one. See ya!